right, y'all. In this video, I'm gonna actually talk about my top 5 RC cars for 2023. So, of course, this is 2022. This XRT. I had a lot of fun actually running this vehicle out there. I actually had a blast running it, and I still do when I just don't do a lot of filming with it lately. I just haven't had time to film a lot of stuff. But a lot of people have asked me now. Take in mind that this list I'm going to show you guys is just the vehicles that I have tested and I've run for 2023. And the vehicles that I talk about are going to be kind of all-purpose vehicles where you can actually run them off-road, you can run them on road, you can take them to a skate park and stuff as well. So I'm not just going to narrow it down just to a vehicle that you can just run on road, because I run my vehicles, as you guys see here, just about everywhere in all kinds of different conditions. And if you want to see this full video, I'll leave a link down below in the description so you guys can check this XRT skate park run out, because I actually had a lot of fun. It was water out there and I just had fun with it. But anyway, let me go ahead, let me jump into this list so you guys can see my top 5 for 2023. And I'll see you guys and talk to you in just a minute. All right, y'all, before we get into the top 5, I do want to mention 2 vehicles. One's going to be this 903A. So I'm going to try to leave links in the description to every car that I mentioned in here. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I actually enjoyed this vehicle. I only got rid of it was because I was at the park one day and I was just driving it, and someone was with their kid and they actually wanted the vehicle and they actually got it. So, but I enjoyed this vehicle a lot, and I put this in here because this vehicle is good for children and adults. I mean, it was actually large enough, and you guys will see some off-road videos of it running in just a second. It was actually large enough to run off-road and stuff, but it wasn't too large and too big, and you have to worry about using several different lipos and stuff like that in it, or using like 3 and 4S lipos, or using double lipos in it. So I thought that was good about it. The shocks and everything was fine on it, and the tire compound, everything was good for this vehicle as well. And it also had lights and stuff on it. So I thought the vehicle was really well, and it was well put together, and it ran just good. And I do remember, of all the many cars that I've driven so far, this is about, I think, 14 scale. This is actually one of the best ones, just because you guys see the speed there. It was good to run out there. I was able to charge it actually as I was going to run this vehicle, and I charged it in my vehicle with the USB charger that came with it, and I had fun running. I really did. I ran it several more times off video. And it just ran good. I just remember running this, and this is not like a sponsor thing or anything like that, but I just enjoyed this vehicle, and I'm actually probably going to look at trying to get another one if they still have it out there. But there'll be a link below in the description of this, because this one was a lot of fun. So I think if you're looking for something for a kid that's going to be durable, this was actually probably be top of my list if I was going to do actually small cars for children and stuff, which I'll do that at some point, because it was actually durable. I can't remember. I know it was not too warm outside, but it took pretty good beatings and stuff out there, and nothing actually broke on it. And when I drove it at the park, someone saw it and they were like, yes, where'd you get that from? Their kid liked it. And I was like, you know what, here you go. And I actually happened to have the USB charger with me. But I'll probably end up getting another one of these and then showing this on the channel pretty soon. Now, the last one before we get into this is going to be the ARLAARLO AK787. Now, I really like this vehicle. I liked it better than the 927, I think it was, their other on-road car. And one of the reasons was because you can actually do a dual motor setup with this. Now, I haven't run on my channel lately because the weather's been kind of crazy, and actually it's actually too cold out to try to run it. And it's just, the weather's just been on and off. But this was something that I just liked running. I mean, just the build of and everything, and that you can go from a single motor to a dual motor. It is 10 scale, but it actually handled the power and speed of what I was running. And it has a lot more potential. And I did see you guys' videos out there where you're running it. But I did at least want to try to at least mention this vehicle, because this was something that was very unique that was actually put out this year. And I think ARRARO did a good job with it. Now, they make this actually in 7 scale, even in 8 scale, and make it dual motor. A lot of the larger companies will actually be in trouble because they've actually got a pretty good build quality with this. But I did want to at least mention the previous vehicle and this one as well before we jump into these top 5 vehicles for 2023, at least for me and from what I've tested.
So I'll have something to kind of.
All right, this number 5 is the Traxxas Raptor. Now, when this vehicle came out, people were kind of just saying it was a stretch slash and stuff. which you could kind of consider that, but the chassis and stuff is a lot different than the Slash. And I actually added some headlights to it. I added the Stampede 4x4 headlights to the light buckets of it, and it actually ran good. I did have one problem when I was jumping and the body kept popping off, but I realized what was going on with that. I just put some foam spacers underneath the clips and it never popped off again when I was jumping and stuff. But I actually enjoyed this vehicle. The only thing with this vehicle here is that Traxxas should have either put a bigger motor, like a 2400 kV motor, or at least gave you like a fan or a heat sink for the motor, because running it on 3S, it will overheat probably after about, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes. And then the battery tray is kind of limited to just using the Traxxas style 3S lipos, but you can just do a Velcro strap or something in there. But I actually enjoyed this vehicle and enjoy running it on and off road. Now, of course, you can't go in like tall grass and stuff with it, but running in areas like this and then taking out other people seeing it and looking at it and going, wow, it looks pretty good. And the realism of this vehicle out here running, I just liked it. So this is actually number 5 for me. I think it runs, I think it may actually have went down in price. I think it was about $570 when I bought it, and I did get it from Hobbytown in Beaufort, Georgia. It was about $570 or so with tax. But you guys see here, the vehicle actually runs good, and it actually looks good with those headlights and stuff on it. All right, number 4 is the Team Corrale Asuga. Now, Team Corrale really stepped their game up, in my opinion, with this Asuga. It was a lot larger than an 8-scale buggy, but right about the size of an 8-scale truggy, but it still had the handling characteristics of a buggy. And it was actually durable. We know when Team Corrale first released some of their first vehicles like the Shogun and stuff, they weren't that durable, but they were fast. And then they came out with a version 2, and then they started doing some upgrades and stuff for it. And it seems like, in my opinion, they hit it right with this vehicle. Now the aftermarket companies are still have to kind of jump on and making some parts, for which they are a little bit now, but this vehicle handled well. It took a pretty good bashing out here. The only time I broke something was actually when I was doing a speed run, and I think I was going about 70 plus miles per hour, and I actually hit a curve. So anything is going to break at 70 miles per hour, but this vehicle actually ran good out here, and I enjoyed it. So I think Team Corrale did a great job with this one. I have yet to test their Kagama, which is going to be a kind of an updated truggy version, but it's going to have a lot of the upgraded stuff that they've actually did to this Asuga. So at some point in time, I look to get my hands on getting a Kagama and taking it out here and getting it running. Some people just said it's just like a Kronos but modified, which is good because the Kronos is good. It did need a couple of updates and stuff for it, but it actually did run good. I did enjoy it. So number 4 for me is going to be the Team Corrale Asuga. Electronics and stuff were fine. I think if you start gearing up, you will need to put a heat sink and stuff on the motor to keep that cooling down. But the vehicle actually ran well, and I didn't have any issues with this vehicle, except for the one little crash, y'all.
Good with it, so no problems or no issues. So far, so.
All right, number 3, this was gonna make the list, guys, was this Losi Bike. I mean, this was actually very innovative, and they did a good job with this one. I know they had a little bit of problems when they first released it, because I think they actually sold more than they thought they were going to sell, and it was possibly a problem with shipping, and then their website was down, etc., etc. And it took people a while to get this, but I was so impressed with the way this bike handled. You just had to get used to it a little bit, but I was very, very, very impressed with this. So Losi did a great job, and I didn't expect this at all. And for this to actually handle as good as it did, I mean, it was amazing to me. So this is actually number 3, and this was actually close to being number 1 and number 2. With the only thing that stopped it from being that was actually the battery component. I wish it was a little bit larger so we could fit larger 2S lipos in it, but this thing actually ran good.
Nope. There we go.
All right, number 2 is the Big Rock 6S. Now, this is going to be pretty controversial for some people, because some people did have issues when they got it with the speed controller, which I did not, guys. I mean, when I got this thing, first off, I think Arrma did a good job on. I think the body design for it was good and stuff. And people kind of complained about the price, but people are always going to find some, in my opinion, to complain about. It doesn't matter what it is, especially Arrma. I mean, other companies can release stuff that's expensive, and Arrma comes out with something there's a lot of complaints for. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. But I actually enjoyed this vehicle. I thought it looked really good. I'm glad they did. It was kind of built on their Fire Team chassis, which I'm glad they did that because that is a solid platform in my opinion. I took this thing, as you guys see here, through some mild running and stuff here, but the looks of this vehicle just amazed me. I mean, just the way this truck looked. I have the red one. I plan on getting the white body and then even the silver body, so I'll have all three for it at some point in time. But you guys know in my video, I took this thing through hell and back. I mean, I don't think I've ever driven an RC car as hard as I've driven this vehicle. I mean, you guys see here, you guys saw the construction site video where I really bashed this thing. You guys actually want to see more of this, so I'll have a lot more of that coming up in the future. But I ran it through water and everything, and I didn't have any problems with it. I don't know, breakages or anything. But this was my number 2 pick, was the Arrma Big Rock 6S. All right, number 1 goes for me is Arrma 2, the Arrma Mojave 4S. This I actually got from Hobbytown, Buford, and I was up there and we took a look at it, and I actually wanted the red and white one at first until I saw the blue, and I was like, whoa. So I took this vehicle out and I had a blast with this one. Now, I didn't take it through water and stuff. I actually just ran it, but I had a lot of fun actually running this vehicle. I took it to the skate park, as you guys see there. I did speed tests and stuff for it, and it actually did good on the speed test for it. It actually got 55 miles per hour when I actually took it to the speed test and stuff. And I was impressed with the vehicle. I ain't gonna lie. And I know a lot of other YouTubers, when we say stuff like this, some people are in doubt. They say, oh, you guys are paid or whatever it may be, and then they get it and then they find out that the vehicles are actually good. I mean, a lot of people were running this thing on 2 wheels and stuff, which I hadn't had a chance to do that yet, but I will be getting this back out at some future time. And I do have a couple conversions that I have in the works for 2024 that I'll be doing with this vehicle, like a Monster Mojave, basically putting some bigger tires, stuff like that on it. But I actually really enjoyed running this vehicle actually a lot. I think the only thing that someone will probably want to do with this is probably put some thicker oil in that center diff for it. And here's going to be the actual speed test for it. So it did go 50 plus miles per hour. I think Arrma said 55, and I got right at 55 miles per hour on a 4S LiPo. And I can't remember exactly which one I used offhand, but I think it was an SMC LiPo. But I took it out there, and it actually did what it said it was going to do out the box. And I didn't have any problems or anything with it. And when I took this vehicle actually to the skate park, like I said, I had a lot of fun with it. I actually drove a lot more off camera. But what you guys see here is some of the footage that I drove when I was driving, when I actually filmed it and stuff. And I've never jumped a vehicle that actually jumped that smooth at the skate park next to the XRT, and that's a 7 scale. And there was a big puddle of water on the other end for it, so it actually helped with the landing and stuff. But I love this vehicle too. So this was actually my number 1 for 2023 was going to be the Arrma Mojave 4S. So you guys put down in the comments what you think, or what is your best top car, what's your top 5 car, or something like that. My list may be off, which is fine, but these are the ones that I've had that I've actually driven this year, that I've actually enjoyed running. So as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, put your comments down below. You may hate my list, which is fine, but I'd like to see you guys' comments on this. And don't forget to like, subscribe, Merry Christmas, and stay tuned for the next video. Appreciate you guys watching.